Welcome to episode 25 of Retrotopia, a milestone in the podcast. We didn't think it would make half a year, and it will still make a half a year until next week, but we're celebrating episode 25 by talking about what, Sam?
Metal Gear. Sorry, I don't know why I paused for a second. I was like taking a breath.
Gonna be taking some deep cuts in the intro of this one.
Yeah, this week we were talking Metal Gear for the MSX, I learned, but also the NES, which is how I think most people around here played it. So yeah, what do you got going on, Brian, this week?
Oh man, this is
This
the last
past
week of classes, so I've passed my course. I'm officially scriptwriter qualified, so yay me.
Oh
Other than
yeah.
that, nothing. Getting day drunk and falling asleep on the couch. What are you up to, Sam?
Oh, well, I had a couple days off to start this week. We're recording on a Wednesday, which if you join our Discord, you will find that we have christened Wednesday. What was it, like Hump Fuck Wednesday?
I don't know. Like I told you, I was day drunk today, so you guys are going off about something, and I was just like, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and Brian can get drunk and yell at you about talking about something in the wrong thread topic or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Uh,
Somebody has to be the adult in this podcast, and it's not going to be me.
yeah. Well, yeah, I had coming off of a couple days off where I was laying around the house reading books and playing Metal Gear and taking my dogs outside to play, and that was about it. I didn't really do very much. I got kind of burnt out, so I decided to take a couple of days to just lay
Those are the
around.
best days.
Yeah.
That's pretty much why I left my last job, was just absolute burnout.
Although, do you sometimes? I mean, I'm sure you don't anymore because now you're a little bit more into the swing of uh, your semi-retired and student life, but um, I can't seem to like fully relax.
It takes a while. It took me
Yeah.
probably a good like 3-4 months before my body just realized it didn't have to tense up for Monday morning.
Yeah. And like when you've got 2 days off where you're kind of, and I was still kind of like worried about a few work things. And then, I'm like sitting there reading a book and kind of enjoying my book, reading for a couple hours. And I was like, oh, I should get some things done. And it's
Yeah,
like,
that's
really,
that's
no, I
always the
shouldn't.
worst part.
Yeah.
Like I still get that. Like I'll be sitting here and just farting around on my computer, and if I'm not making progress on something, I actually feel bad. So that's why I put a lot of time into this podcast and ideas for it. And I try to learn something different every so often. This summer, I'm going to be trying to continue my journey to learn Unity. So keeping
Oh, that's,
yourself busy is important.
yeah. And Unity is the game developing software, correct?
Yes, the
So
engine.
maybe the engine. Maybe we'll be talking about Brian's indie game that he made in Unity,
Oh yeah.
or
That's all
maybe
we're going
just,
to talk about. The 35 episode arc of me talking about myself.
or maybe, or maybe you just give up on Unity and make some Mario Maker levels or something.
Yeah, and then I put on a hat that says programmer.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of like my
Mario Maker Pro.
yeah, it's like my 9-year-old running around and logging into a program running around the house going, I hacked the system. Kids are dumb. Not as
What
dumb
do
as
you?
their dads.
Yeah. What have you been playing, buddy?
Holy crap! I pulled out my Vita, which has a as Danny from Retro Wars always says, a sickness.
Oh, to get sick?
Yeah, I got sick, which is basically code for he pirated a whole bunch of games, and the FBI is looking for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and I kind of jumped through a bunch of games, and I ended up playing WarioWare for the GBA, and
Ooh.
that game is dumb fun. I've never played that game before, but holy crap! It's like you have
Yeah.
like a second to figure out what you're supposed to do. Like everything's simple. You have 5-second levels, and you have a second to figure it out, and then do it. And you just do that like 10 times, and then you have a boss level. It's just pure dumb fun, and I love it.
Yeah, WarioWare is some fuckery. I have not played the GBA version, but one of my girls, I got the Switch version. I don't think she plays it that much. I should see if I can snag it from her and play it.
Oh, I think you
But
could take her in a fight.
it was like I played a little bit of it and it was like pick this nose or like pull a nose. It was like pull a nose hair out or whatever. But like you said, it's got a timer and it gives you like 2 seconds to figure out what the hell they expect you to do, and it's just absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's just a waste of a great character like Wario, but It's just such
Yeah.
a fun game. Other
Uh,
than that, no, I picked up the Long Dark again this weekend
yeah.
when my buddy McGee was over,
All right. How's that?
and oh god, it's just still fun as fuck.
You
Like,
boys just cuddled and played Long Dark?
well, he watched the UFC fight, and we couldn't get it to stream on my TV, so he watched it on his phone, and I just played the video game
Oh,
and
nice.
cuddled.
And
Definitely
cuddled.
cuddled. Yeah, it's not
uh,
gay because we don't identify as gay.
well, there, there you
That's
go.
how it works nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
What did you? What are you playing? Let's get off of me and on to you,
yeah.
if you know what I mean. A
Yeah.
wink.
Let's see. What have I been playing? Well, some Metal Gear. I got not very far, but decently far in, and enjoyed it, but it was very tough, and definitely just kind of threw in the towel and said, "This is about as far as I'm going to get before we need to record." Uh, I've also been continuing on my quest of playing Horizon Zero Dawn, which has been very fun. Um, and then recently, once I finished, Illusion of Gaia. Once I finished that game off the
Oh
last
man,
week,
I
very
just got
awesome
to
game.
that Moo part of the game
Oh
with the
yeah,
vampires. Yeah, yeah. I'm not having as much fun as I want to, but I'll
they're
get
tough.
past it.
They're tough, and they get tougher when you do like the kind of semi boss rush thing at the end.
Shh, 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 shh. There's still an episode next week or the week after. I can't remember when.
Well, we'll talk about it then. Everyone will have forgotten.
Yeah, by this
Um,
point, people have stopped listening, anyways.
yeah, and, and then the last one that I wanted to mention was Chrono Trigger on my DS. That
Ooh,
has been a long time coming. It's been a long journey to get acquire a DS, get it all cleaned up and everything, and then find a copy of Chrono Trigger. So it's been fun so far. I'm just in the very first part of it, but I really enjoy so far the interface with the touch screen down on the bottom, even though it's
yeah.
not 100% necessary. It's just kind of fun to
No,
have.
it's almost the definitive way to play the game now is
Yeah.
on the 3D or on the DS. Is it's just so well done and so well ported.
Yeah, I just love how you're talking to someone and then it gives you the option of like yes or no or whatever if you've got like a dialogue and it's like just a box that says yes and a box that says no on the bottom screen and it's like, well, hell yeah, I'll fuck with this. I'll touch a button down here. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, technology's come so far.
Yeah.
Oh, what game was I playing? Oh, Smash TV. That's right.
Hmm.
I played that this week, and it was funny because I was reading the manual for it, and it's like in the near future of 1999. And I'm like, oh Jesus.
That reminds me of that old Conan O'Brien segment from like around that time where they talk about the future and they go in the year 2000.
Oh yeah.
It was like 1999 already when they were doing that.
Oh god.
uh, all right,
All
so
right.
should we get into some comments here?
Let's get into some comments. I'm going to let you read the first one. You have an intimate knowledge of this person.
Oh
A
yeah.
wink.
So for our 25th episode here, we got some really good questions from our good friend DePokes from the Discord, and she actually asked us 3 questions. So let's take these one at a time. I'd say.
Yeah, and I just want to preface this with I was going to put these questions in anyway, so she just kind of beat me to it.
Yeah. I
But then
did.
again, yeah, she likes a long dark, so she's okay by my books.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true. I showed her the
Unlike
script
you.
and she stole it. She
Oh
plagiarized all your questions.
yeah, absolutely. This is what happens. She's a spy.
Yeah. All right. First question is, what is something surprising you learned about each other during these 25 episodes?
Every time we start an episode, Sam takes a breath in when I say, "Hey Sam, what are we playing today?"
Yeah.
Every time.
and then I, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm not the greatest at just like diving right into
Yeah, if you
the
listen to the
talking part.
episode and it doesn't sound like you took in a breath, it's because I cut it and smushed it together to make it more fluid.
Do you really cut that out?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I swear you're staring at a butterfly or something because it's like almost a full second.
I
It
am
just
sitting in I am sitting in front of a window that overlooks like the street in front of my house. Not that there's anything going on, but yeah, just kind of looking.
yeah, Yeah,
Um,
I manipulate your voice as well by bringing it up a couple of octaves, so people think that you have less testosterone than you actually do.
yeah, yeah. I am loaded up with the tea here. Um, yeah, I'd say surprising thing I've learned. Um,
Come on, Sam, don't make me cry.
I'd say it like just we didn't know each other all that well, like a little bit before we started
Yeah,
in on this, but
we
I
were
mean,
playing SnowRunner a lot, and then we sat and kind of talked for a few hours. But when it
yeah,
all started, yeah, it was a fairly new relationship.
yeah, but you're a very very creative dude and have a lot of really great ideas, and I really appreciate your tenacity
Oh,
and keeping me on track and keeping things organized because
oh,
I'm the
you
kind of
stop it,
person that
you.
appreciates deadlines, or else I just
Oh,
kind of
look at
like
that! My
flake.
pants fell off.
Yeah.
No,
No, but yeah.
it's been a good relationship. I mean, like when you don't know somebody so well, like your work ethic can be completely opposite there. But you've been stepping up to the plate, and every so often you kind of have like real life get in the way there, but you work around it. So I appreciate the fact that you're not just like giving up on it. You
Oh
do
no.
make it work. So like I definitely have way more time than you to kind of think about this, but no, you're still there. Like even if we have to go at the last minute, you make it work. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
something I actually quite appreciate about you.
Well, thank you. And yeah, I mean, you have time to get get day drunk and then rally and record this.
Yeah. Oh
It's
man,
just,
good nap on the couch put me right in the mood.
but being flexible is a good point. That's something that we have to keep in mind as like two people that live in different areas and have different things going on. Like we might have a week where we move the podcast back, like we did this week, just to have more time for it, or a
You know,
week
we had
like
the
last
week
week
where
where we recorded 3 episodes.
yeah, and or we had the week where you took off on business there, and I had to kind of do the intro myself. So we've been trying to get the backlogs
Yep.
kind of stacked up, so we have something to go by.
It's a little bit of fallback. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
then
for sure.
there's setting up guest episodes with the two guests we've had and the ones we have for the future that we've talked to, and yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's a lot.
people who have guests every week. I mean, the amount of juggling that's required is insane.
It really is, and you have to be able to like switch your plans on a dime if someone's not available, and
Or if they're on the other side of the country or other side of the world, I
other
mean,
side
you
of the
have to,
world for sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
The Sonic episode with Alan, we had to switch to recording in the afternoon because he lives in Britain, and that was 6 hours, ahead of me, seven ahead of you.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Or like both of us have guested on our good friend Danny's podcast, Retro Wars, and he is over on the Upside Down in Australia.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, it's challenging, but it's fun. It's rewarding. It's like it is a hobby, but you kind of have to treat it like it is a
yeah.
work.
There's definitely
Yeah,
a discipline aspect to this.
kinky. Should we
Yeah,
go to the next question, or will
let's go.
be we could turn
I'll,
this into an episode on its own?
oh well, it's the 25th episode. We're gonna get into it.
Yeah,
All
this
right.
might
So
be a
the
little
next
bit.
part,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll read this. The next part of
Okay.
what DePoke said is, what growth have you noticed for yourself throughout the process?
I mean, besides this massive boner that I get when I record, um, I would
Yeah,
say
speak into the mic, baby.
I think I don't listen to the episodes. I got to get better at that. I really don't like to hear the sound of my own voice on
Yeah,
recording. I think it's weird.
I listen. Well, besides editing, I listen to maybe one out of every 5 to 10 episodes just to make
Yeah,
sure that it sounds okay. But I've started getting used to my voice. It's terrible, but people keep telling me it's not, so I just believe them.
it's not. But yeah, when you hear yourself, it is definitely strange. So that's something that I think I need to get better at. And that's not really answering the question. But I think that I've gotten a little bit more comfortable. Our scripts have gotten a little bit less word for word what we want to
Yeah,
talk about and a little bit more freestyle, which has been
make it
better.
wicked.
We've got Mad Mike Flow.
Exactly. Yeah. The first scripts we wrote, I remember the first script I wrote for this, and it was word for word. We almost basically read a novel on a microphone.
Yeah. I think the turning point was the Mega Man 2 episode, which went like 2 hours, and we did like a blow by blow, like play by play of
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
game. We're like, we can't do that anymore.
No, we can't. Like, yeah, we realized that we were just literally rehashing every level and almost every pixel on the screen. So we sat down, we revamped, and we said that can't happen again. And yeah, now we just kind of gloss over the levels. If there's anything interesting, unlike Metal Gear, we will go over it.
Yeah, just that Mega Man episode played like a that old Chris Farley SNL skit where it was like, you remember Wily's Castle? Yeah, that was awesome.
What was your favorite level? Metal Man. Oh man, mine was Quick Man. No, no.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
next one.
Last one here. The podcast has continued to evolve. What do you picture this looking like when you get to episode 50 or 100?
Mr. Burns, your campaign is going like a runaway train. What do you attribute to your success?
What do
Oh
you?
man.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you take this one first.
Well, we already have plans for episode 50, and you've hinted at them. And I'm pretty sure anybody who knows me would pretty much guess what it is. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to say anything yet because we still have to stitch it all together. But we have kicked the tires on an idea for kind of a midweek refresher because, well, we get the statistics there, and right after a certain point, it kind of drops off. So
Yeah.
just a little short. I guess I can say what it is. It's called Quick Play, and basically, one of us will just take a game that it takes like an hour to play, and then we just do a quick review on it.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I plan to probably Friday. Might have some time. I'm gonna record my first one of those. You've done your first one of those, and I think that's gonna be a nice little uh, little taste to pepper in there
yeah, just
between episodes.
just something like they're just short games that are too short for a full episode, but games we still want to play. Or there's games in there that one of us doesn't have access to, but the other really likes. So
Hmm.
I don't know. There's ideas out there.
Yeah, and we got some other stuff floating around that we can probably share when they're a little bit more fully formed. But
Yeah, there's definitely like we definitely have a bunch of ideas going. It's just kind of time meets effort, right?
hmm yeah, the intersection between fuck about and find out, right?
Yeah, there you go. All right. I'm going to read
Yeah,
the
I don't.
last one because I copy and pasted it from the Discord. It's from our good friend Wildcard, who you're going to hear on an upcoming episode here in a couple of weeks. He recorded with us back in, I believe, March, but
Mm-hmm.
we pushed back his episode. It was supposed to be in April, but yeah, screw a Wildcard. Anyways, he says, Brain, how did you get so good looking? I don't know who Brain is, but
That does say brain.
yeah. And Sam, you just keep being swell, I guess.
Yeah,
You put that in the form of a question too.
certainly got a swell going here.
Yeah, it's just you keep being swell, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah.
Stay
Uh
classy.
I like Wild Card, but I can't let him know I like him.
Sure.
Yeah. So, anyways, no answers to Wild Card. Let's move on
Yeah.
because that's how I do that.
Yeah. So let's.
Anyways,
I'll
yeah,
take the socials here. We got a link tree, uh, linktr.ee/retrotopia, where you can find a link to our Discord, where you can apparently establish hump fuck Wednesday or whatever the hell we did today, and all kinds of goofy stuff. Get down to some shenanigans.
misspell
Um,
your comments there and make them make no sense or add erroneous question marks where there's no question.
yeah, Sam and Brain. I
Yeah,
guess I'd be Pinky in that
yeah.
case.
Sam in the brain. Your Sam in the brain.
Oh, that's too
Yeah.
Animaniacs adjacent. Um, so yeah, we also have a Twitter or X or whatever the hell. We have Facebook, which I posted a little bit on, but not very much. So I'm hoping to get back in there and get a little bit more regular cadence on the Facebook, and then maybe you know expand into an Instagram and such. But you can find all that at Linktree/Retrotopia.
Yeah, it's
So
when
should
we
we?
get the OnlyFans going. That's when we're going to get the bump in numbers.
Yep, just pictures of like us playing our video games, but like with our feet in the picture.
Oh, there you
And
go. Grower.
yeah, okay. So should we get into this game?
Well, yeah, let's get into this game. And before we get into the game, as is becoming a bit of a tradition around here, we got our good friend Alan to give us the gentleman's interlude.
Before delving into the future of the Metal Gear series, allow me to take a moment to extend my heartfelt congratulations to our esteemed host on the occasion of their 25th episode. Your dedication to fostering insightful discussions and illuminating topics of interest has been nothing short of exemplary. May this milestone serve as a testament to your unwavering commitment to excellence and enduring passion for the art of discourse. Here's to many more episodes filled with enlightenment, engagement, and erudition. But I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished listeners, I am honored to address you on this auspicious occasion wherein we celebrate a landmark moment in the annals of video gaming history. Cast your minds back to the wintry eve of December 22nd, 1987, when a marvel of digital entertainment emerged onto the scene, igniting the imaginations of enthusiasts far and wide. I speak, of course, of the magnum opus that is Metal Gear for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Crafted with meticulous care and unparalleled craftsmanship by the venerable artisans at Konami, this opus of interactive storytelling found itself shepherded into the limelight under the august patronage of Ultra Games, a veritable bastion of excellence in the realm of North American publishing. The confluence of these distinguished entities birthed an experience unlike any other, redefining the contours of the nascent video game landscape and etching its indelible mark upon the annals of gaming history. In Metal Gear, players were thrust into the shoes of the illustrious Solid Snake, a paragon of martial prowess and cunning intellect, and embarked upon a perilous odyssey into the shadowy recesses of outer heaven. His charge? None other than the dismantling of Metal Gear, a colossus of mechanized warfare poised to unleash untold devastation upon an unsuspecting world. As Snake threaded his way through labyrinthine corridors teeming with adversaries, brain teasers, and formidable foes, he epitomized courage, sagacity, and dexterity. Yet beyond its superlative gameplay, Metal Gear's legacy transcends the mere confines of entertainment. It stands as a beacon of innovation and a testament to the transformative power of interactive media. Its undeniable impact reverberates through the annals of gaming history, birthing a lineage of sequels, adaptations, and cultural phenomena that continue to captivate audiences to this very day. As we raise our glasses in tribute to Metal Gear, let us also pay homage to the visionary creators whose ingenuity and boundless creativity brought this seminal work into existence. Their tireless dedication and unwavering commitment to excellence have enriched our lives and inspired future game developers to push the boundaries of what is possible. In closing, let us reaffirm our appreciation for Metal Gear, a paragon of virtuosity and ingenuity that will forever sway the hearts of connoisseurs and aficionados alike. In the grand tapestry of video gaming, it stands as a shining exemplar of excellence, a testament to the enduring power of human creativity and a timeless example of the artistry of interactive storytelling. I thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Alan. Once again, my pants just got a little bit tighter.
Is it hot in here?
Yeah, summer's coming, but all of a sudden the snow just instantly melted in my frosty.
Yeah, I mean it is hot in here in the Beagletorium where I record, but
The Beagletorium. I love the name of that. That's right. We were supposed to establish that as canon this week.
it
You
is
just did
canon.
it.
It is canon that my recording studio and video game library is called the Beagletorium.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And if you don't understand why it's called the Beagletorium, it's because on the Discord he goes by Storm Beagle and he has two beagles. Kind
Which
of
I think
his
I'm pretty sure
thing.
you probably heard them barking before. They were
Oh
they were
yeah,
getting a little restless. So
they're unofficial co-hosts.
they are.
It's like the other day I was trying to record in my office there, and my one dog, whose nails grow insanely fast, jumped off the couch and tippy tapped her way out of the room there in the middle of me recording. Of course.
That's so
So
loud when when you don't want it to
yeah.
be too. It's like
All right, so let's
yeah.
transition into the game. And before we talk about the game, we have some comments from our friends from the Discord. Sam, take it away.
Yeah, we'll start with Zodiac, who says, Metal Gear. It kind of sucks. I've heard the MSX version is far better and that a lot of cuts had to be made to even make this version possible. Fortunately, we'd get a solid follow up later down the road.
Oh, wink. Great, great pull on that one. Just for my knowledge, the MSX version is the one that came with that new Metal Gear collection.
Yes, and it is
Ah,
better than the NES one for sure. I played both and yeah, we'll get into it. It's better.
all right. Well, our next one is from our good friend Pickle, who's first time writing in, I believe, and he says, "Played it after I saw the box art was Kyle Reese from Terminator, but this game was butt. I guess it did make me want to smoke cigarettes to be cool or die faster. Who knows?" Great comment.
Yes. This
Oh,
next one comes from McGee, who says, "This fucking game, so much tomfoolery."
another
He's not
slamming
wrong.
comment from McGee.
Yep. Man of few
Uh,
words.
and finally, we got to had a bit of a conversation from Wolfbane and Pickle
I love this. I
in the
included the
Discord.
whole
Yeah,
thing.
I noticed that. So Wolfbane starts out. I'll take Wolfbane. You take Pickle. He says, "I enjoyed this game. I enjoyed the game. The bosses were good. I think you could beat Psycho Mantis by shooting the statues either side of him instead of using the controller port too."
To which Pickle replies, "Not Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear NES."
And Wolfbane replied to Pickle, says, "Lol, you should use this because it's funny. Ha ha ha." He wrote, "Ha ha ha." I've always referred MGS as Metal Gear. I've never played the NES version.
Well, here you go.
Just top tier commenting, fellas. I'm ecstatic. All
Yes.
right, so let's get into this. So, as always, we always start off the comment or the game chat with, "Why did we choose this game?"
Well, like our pal Wolfbane, I really do enjoy Metal Gear Solid. One of my favorite
Great game.
gaming experiences growing up as a preteen, early teenager. You know, you get to be this gruff super spy smoking, you know, whatever. He's Solid Snake. He's cool as hell. Um, but I was always intrigued by this because I think it was relatively recently that I even learned that there was a Metal Gear on the NES. And I've always kind of been curious to figure out where I could get access to it and play it. And when the Metal Gear collection dropped, I obviously wanted it for the ability to play the first three Metal Gear Solid games, but also the added little treat that there was Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 for the original hardware on there as bonuses, and that's kind of where it began.
Hoorah.
Yeah,
No, I've always known about Metal Gear because of Nintendo Power, but I've never played it before.
yeah,
Played Metal Gear Solid. I actually have Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I think I have 5 as a digital copy if I go back to my PlayStation. But Metal Gear Solid was probably my favorite of the series, only because it was such a new concept when I played it. Whereas, throughout the rest of the series, you're just kind of repeating the same formula with, a Kojima level story.
yeah.
Uh, I didn't know about the remakes and the Metal Gear Solid collection, so I'll probably never buy them anyways because I've been pretty much solid on the point. Like, this is not a terrible game, but my God, does it not be kind to you?
No, no, it definitely is one of those. I mean, like so many NES games we talk about in cover, you have to work your way through and kind of memorize the where things are. There's a fair amount of backtracking, and also just the like the enemy patterns
Yeah.
and such. Like you really
And
have to
it's
use
not even
yourself.
that. Like I played this game for probably a solid 6 to 7 hours, and I didn't make it past getting the third key card.
Yeah.
Like I
Oh
just
well. Yeah.
yeah, I barely made it into this game. So I watched a walkthrough and there's like 8 key cards and the guys just like flipping around, going back and forth,
Uh,
backtracking, going fuck the fuck.
Yeah, these fucking I mean, we'll probably that's going to be a huge knock in this game when we get way into it. But like those fucking key cards for some goddamn reason there's 8 of them, which I get. You really want to have the illusion that you're moving through this base and you've got higher and higher level security clearance, but they're not different colors. There's no
No.
indication on the doors as to which one goes
No.
with which. You have to open the menu and equip it, whether you're
Yes.
getting like chased down by enemies or you have
In a
to.
room full of gas.
Yeah, that was the worst. It was like, hey, go get the gas mask, and
And
then
it's
it's like,
all yeah, it's trial and error, and you're flipping through key cards,
yeah,
dying, and like you have to use a ration because you can't figure out which fucking key card to open the
yep.
door. Yeah. No, that was dumb.
That's where you really have to where memorizing helps. But as you gain more key cards and get further into the game, even the walkthrough I was watching, the guy had no fucking clue where like which key card goes. And you get to the end of the game and you have to go all the way back to the first key card in some doors. It's like, why
Yeah.
even use this one anymore?
Yeah, exactly. Like once you get key card 2, key card 1 should not be used. Key card like what sort of security company is like, well, we're going to give this guy 8 key cards just in case he needs to get into all the doors instead of key card 8 opens all the doors where key card 1 only opens one out of the 8 types of doors.
Yeah, that would have been the better thing. I was also thinking that like once you grabbed the key card that opened that door, it should just open for you without having to go into the menu and equip the key card, because it was
Yes,
really
because
a pain in the
who
ass.
the fuck can
Yeah,
like, oh my god, I need to open this door. Better take my gas mask off.
right.
Like
Yeah, either the
the
gas
gas mask
mask
sits on
or
your fucking head. It does not impede your hands.
yes, it does.
Oh, I'm going to take the body armor off now so I can use this key card.
Yeah,
Like,
all the useful items that you could equip or hold on to or whatever on your secondary item. It's like, nope, got to get out
oh
the key
man.
card.
All right, so we've shat on the key card, and I'm probably going to shit on it some more.
Oh
But let's get
yeah,
into
it
the
deserves.
concept of this game because yeah, we're like 3 topics ahead already.
No, the key card is so bad that it deserves shitting up front and shitting when we get to it.
Yeah, because I'm not done with it. Oh my god,
No.
I'm not done with it at all. But
Yeah.
yeah, so the setting of this game is the late 1990s. Again, the future 1999, and
Yeah.
you play
Zanzibar,
as
1999.
yeah, you play as Solid Snake, a special forces operative. Your mission is to infiltrate. I think what do they call it?
Outer Heaven.
Infiltrate N323 or something like that. Near the end of the game, when you're talking on the radio, it's like infiltrate mission N232 completed.
Oh. Oh right. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's the
yeah. It's Outer Haven or Outer Heaven.
yeah.
When you play Metal Gear Solid, it's constantly referenced, which is kind of nice because I actually didn't know about the references to all this stuff in Metal Gear Solid until playing this game.
Yeah, it's kind
Um,
of cool that they build off of each other.
yeah, they just
Yeah,
don't dump the story for every game.
right.
But
Uh
yeah, you infiltrate the stronghold to get this new weapon called Metal Gear, and of course you're in South Africa, which
yep.
is a great place to hide a Metal Gear.
Yep,
Uh,
apparently.
yeah, you start out by parachuting into the middle of the jungle, which is bullshit. You
Yeah,
do a rescue. Yeah, you go ahead.
here's where the MSX version is a little bit better, because I did play the NES version, and that jungle sequence that you parachute into is very, very difficult. But
Yeah, it took me a long time to get past that on a
yeah,
consistent basis.
yeah, and the MSX version, he just kind of like swims up and scales the chain link fence, and then the big boss calls you on the codec, and it all begins, but you're just like dropped right in the middle of the compound.
Yeah, yeah,
Skip
that.
this whole bullshit.
Oh man. But once you get inside the compound, you are on doing a rescue operation. So there's a bunch of
Hmm.
prisoners, and the prisoners are how you kind of level up Snake,
Yes,
get more health and more strength and stuff like that.
I thought that
The
was really cool.
That was a neat idea. It actually
Yeah.
gave you incentive to rescue people.
Yeah, the only thing is I didn't really understand it at first until I got my second star. I think I might have gotten up to 3 stars, but at the there was a point where I got the first of the stars that you can earn, and then the hit point or like the little health bar went up. But I didn't understand that. I just thought like, well, this is bullshit. They start the game and you're only at like a quarter health, and it's like, no, that's just how much health you have. They
Yeah.
just don't fill out the rest of the bar or shade it in to show you that like it's a partial or
Yeah.
anything.
And the
There's no
concept of the
indication.
game, yeah, the concept of the game is this is Solid Snake's first mission. So
Right.
you are basically green,
Mhm.
green around the ears.
Yeah, or well, wet around the ears because my
That's
solid
the
snake
term I'm
swam
looking
in.
for. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mine was, windswept hair around
right.
the ears.
From parachuting into the
Yeah,
jungle.
exactly.
Yeah,
So the game features boss battles, stealth gameplay. You have to gather resources as you go through, all to lead up to the final showdown where you confront the Metal Gear. Well, technically confront the Metal Gear.
not
You
really
don't
though.
actually. No.
Yeah, that was kind of a letdown.
Yeah, you blow up a computer, which stops the Metal Gear, and then you have to escape at the end.
And
But
it's funny because like, I mean, I had to watch the end of it on a playthrough, but y- the player was destroying this giant mainframe looking computer in a
and
room.
standing there with plastic explosives, just dumping them, wouldn't just sitting there. Just you have to use 16 of them. Like one of the
Yes.
guys you rescue says, use 16 of these, and now you just sit there and just put them on, and they blow up.
Does a dude say use 16 of them?
Yeah, the doctor you have to save
Oh,
there.
well, thank fuck, because otherwise it's like there's no sound effect or anything that indicates that they're actually doing anything.
Yeah,
He just keeps dropping plastic explosives and blowing them up 16 times. It's one tough ass computer.
yeah, exactly. It must be a Mac.
Yeah, I mean, I like the aluminum case on my computer here is really nice, but I think one plastic explosive would probably do
Maybe two.
it. Maybe two.
Uh, so the gameplay of this game, I'm gonna let you go first here. Like I got a list of topics in the notes here, so feel free to thumb through them. But how did you feel the game handled in the original version more than the MSX version?
The original version was a little janky. I think the detection on the stealth on some of the enemies, especially like the dogs. The dogs were kind of shitty in the MSX version too, but I think you could kind of like take a step and stop, take a step and stop, like that kind of thing, like the equivalent of holding your joystick only a little bit and tiptoeing.
Is that what you're supposed to do? Because I just
Yeah.
ran and they just took a bite out of my ass.
No, no, I figured out a way to sneak up on the dogs, but the detection on the NES version was way more sensitive than on
Oh
the
yeah,
MSX one, um,
and
or at
then
least the remade one for the collection.
some
Still
of
tough
the
though.
dumb things about the stealth as well is like you start off in the jungle, like you said, you go the next screen over because
Right.
everything's screen based. So once you hit the edge, it just shifts the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing you have is a guard standing behind a jeep, and he just text comes up, and he goes, "I'm feeling sleepy," and then he
Mm-hmm.
falls asleep, and that's it.
Yeah.
You go up and you punch him, and you move on to the next one, or you'll be in front of a door, and be like, "Oh, you take over," and the guy just walks away from his guard post. Like this is the worst run fucking military operation I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
That was actually a fun part of the version I played was they did that thing of there were guards standing in front of a door that you obviously had to get through and you couldn't get there without walking through them. But I um was just kind of waiting. I was like, I don't know why I stood there, but it was like they all of a sudden I kind of happened upon them saying, "Oh, it's shift change," and they both walked off the screen. So it was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
great, I'll get to
uh,
the elevator."
this is that quiet quitting thing where it's like, "Oh, it's 4 p.m. Fuck this place. I'm out.
Yes, they
I'm just doing the bare minimum."
quiet quit the military installation.
Yeah, basically. No, the thing I hated about the stealth mechanics is you go in the back of those oddly large trucks.
Yes.
You find an item, but if you say sneak past a guard and you go inside of it, you come out and then the guard sees you instantly, and then he starts attacking you and he kills you.
Yeah, that's
So
either not as present in the MSX version or they cleaned it up as part
they
of
must have
the.
cleaned it up because it was a lot
Yeah.
of bullshit. Same with items. I was watching the playthrough and I noticed that the guy kept opening his transmitter and closing it and getting another item.
Oh,
Like
really?
yeah, it would reset the screen.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, if you had like a ration there, you just do that a couple of times and you fill up your rations and carry on.
There was a way, if you were in a relatively calm spot where there was a room with a ration in it or some boxes of ammo, you could just exit and enter the room a bunch of times until you filled up, and that was kind of nice.
Yeah, because it resets the room every
Right?
time.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it does with the enemies. Is you kill the enemies and you go into the truck and you come out and the enemy's back. It's kind of one of the I guess black marks on this game is that it couldn't at least remember one screen over.
Right. Like you already punched that guy out, and then entered the truck or snuck past him when he was facing a certain way. But
Yeah,
if the screen is completely reset, he's facing you when you exit the truck
yeah,
and sees you
exactly. And
right away.
it's not like you have time to hide. You just have to know to run or
Right.
attack them.
And when the enemies spot you, it's like, especially if there's multiple enemies on the screen, it's like the equivalent of kicking an anthill. They just scurry randomly and shoot randomly, and it can be very hard to um,
You hit.
determine where they're going to get a shot off or start punching one. And then all of a sudden, like four will converge on you and start like running back and forth over your sprite, and then you're just dead.
Yeah, 90% of your tactics here is just to get the fuck out of the screen. Because, of course, when
Yeah.
you move one screen over, the alarm stops and they all give up because these are the guys who can't even stand guard duty.
Yeah. Although here's kind of a shitty thing about the MSX version is moving over one screen didn't always end the alarm, and enemies would come from other screens, like the adjacent screens, when there was an alarm.
Okay, well, that's not so much of a downgrade as that's kind of what you expect to happen.
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of an upgrade from that perspective, but they are still scurrying around like chickens with their heads cut off, and they're very hard to like square up to either punch or shoot.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it's you know pick your poison.
Yeah, pretty much. One of the nice things about this game, though, is when you did finally get a gun, one bullet kills a person. There's no
Yes.
this guy takes 15 bullets. This guy takes throwing the gun at him. This guy takes a nuclear missile to kill. Regular enemies, one bullet. Bosses, of course, a little bit more difficult, but
Yeah. I did like the you had the pistol, and then there was a point where you picked up a silencer, and if you shot the gun at someone, like if you were sneaking up on someone and shot the gun without the alarm having been sounded, um, you would alert them with the sound of your gun. But if you had the silencer, your gun becomes silent.
ah, just as
So
intended.
yes, as intended. But it was like you didn't have to do anything extra to equip it. It just kind of sat in your inventory, and then your gun no longer alerted the enemies, which was really cool.
Yeah, and this game uses kind of the line of sight as well, because some of the times I noticed that you could walk right up to a guard as long as you're like, if he was facing down, if you're up and a little to the left, he would
Hmm.
not notice you.
Yeah, it was, and it could be kind of tough. You have to really get to know what the sprites look like to determine exactly where they were looking, because it was just like a pixel or two would change, but they've actually changed the direction that they were quote unquote facing.
Yeah. He just had to base which way they're looking as that's where they can see you. So if
Right.
you could get behind them, that was 90% of the battle.
Well, the other cool thing about the stealth mechanics was, and this goes for I think Metal Gear Solid if I recall, but you could stick to the shadows in Metal Gear Solid, and you can do the same in this game by sticking to the walls. If you hug the walls, you'd notice that there was a strip of I guess it's not really a single pixel, but like the floor tiles, they kind of almost look like Tetris block, like the squared Tetris block
Yeah.
was how the floor tiles looked. But there was one strip of them along all of the walls usually, and it was darker. So that was a shadow. And so if you stuck to that and kind of hugged the wall, you could pass underneath the security cameras that would move along. And that was a good way to get past them.
Yeah. Otherwise, you had to use that cardboard box he found, and that was good for maybe one room out of the 500 you went through.
Yeah, but I did appreciate that these things that have kind of become synonymous with Metal Gear Solid franchise got their start way at the beginning. Like the cardboard box was one of them, and then the pack of cigarettes that like basically you're infiltrating this highly secure military base, and you're so badass that all you have to do is roll up with a pack of cigs and like
Of
nothing
course.
else. And actually smoking the cigarettes did do the thing that it does in Metal Gear Solid, where you could see the laser eye or whatever tripwire, the laser tripwire. If you equip the cigarette, you could see them and avoid them.
Yeah, and that was up until you got the thermal goggles.
Right, right. Which didn't
Yeah.
hurt you to equip, but it still is like cigarettes are
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, smoking's cool. Worst part of this game for me, inventory management.
Yes.
Not that it was hard to kind of muckle around, but like we were talking, and we're going to go back to it because I'm not done with them. The key
These fucking
cards
key cards, yeah.
or any item, like you got to be able to equip more than one thing. You shouldn't, like I said, the gas mask does not require your hand, so it should not stop you from putting on body armor.
Right.
A body armor can fit over the enemy uniform you find. The blast suit
Right.
again leaves your hands free. You should be able to use key cards and stuff like that without taking it off. I mean, it just the one item only thing really, really made this game bad.
Right. And the fact that like we mentioned that you couldn't just have the key cards in your inventory and have access to these doors, and there was no indication. All the doors looked the same no matter what.
Yeah,
Um
32 million colors and they couldn't pick fucking eight.
right, like it would have been, I think it would have just been more concise to have maybe like,
A number on the door or something.
or just like pick four, like the NES can't make like four fucking colors, and you can just have four, like just like Doom. It's like there's the red one and the yellow one and the blue one or whatever. Like why don't you just make colors for them
Yeah.
and
But
then have
instead, you're
less key
standing in a
cards?
fucking
And
room
yeah,
filled with gas going through the numbers 1 through 8 to open up a door while you die. So you got to go 1, 2, 3, ration 4, 5, 6, ration 7, 8 to get into it.
yeah, I guess I mean, it got to the point where it was obnoxious, but maybe the reason, if I'm trying to rationalize it, is that there is a fair amount of backtracking in the game, and so you couldn't just make it as linear as maybe they. And I mean, this game came out when, in 1987, so it's pretty old. And at the time, video games were, part of it was the cryptic trickery that went along with some of these old games, and so maybe from that perspective, you would expect that there would be some random door that takes a different key card, but I
Well,
don't
no,
know.
that makes sense. Like even if you have to go back a door number, let's say you have three key cards and then you pass by a door number 6 and you have to backtrack when you get card number 6.
Yeah,
That makes sense, but it would be nice if the door was friggin' marked.
yeah, it would be kind of not the most difficult thing for them to put like a small, like pixelated six or something on the door. Although the problem with that is that some doors are on the bottom of the screen, or flush with the walls on the side of the screen, and so you wouldn't be able to put a number on those. But I
Right,
don't
you
know.
could just
There
put the
has to have
number
been a
on the
better
wall,
way.
right? Like there's ways
Yeah.
around this. I'm pretty sure if we all put our heads together, we could come up with an idea to get the numbers 1 through 8 to be
Right.
displayed.
Like you don't need to have a basically a screen with three doors and have each of them be a different key card, or like two be one and one be the other. It just didn't really make too much sense.
Yeah, and some of the other items, like you get an antidote for if you're stung by the scorpions in the desert, but you have to
Right.
have the compass on you because you can't see the scorpions if you don't have the compass. I'm not sure how the compass worked because they didn't really explain it in the walkthrough, and I never made it that far myself.
I didn't make it that far, but it kind of seemed like, yeah, you get the compass and the so there's two stages like that. It's the equivalent of your princesses in another castle, because you're looking for this doctor or whatever, this weapons designer, and you're constantly freeing these prisoners, but then they're saying like, oh, he's in a base that's like 5 kilometers north, so you have
Yeah,
to exit the base and then go 5 kilometers to another base where you go through similar adventures through this base and try to find him, and then they tell you he's at a different one,
yeah,
10 kilometers to the west or whatever, and then you got to go through. But Yeah,
He's
there's
on the
the
roof. He's in the
right.
basement. Then you finally find him. He's like, I'm not talking to you till you find my daughter. And you're like, well, motherfucker, where's your daughter? And then you have to go backtrack all the way to, I think, the first building to find his
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah, it's really there's some fuckery. But yeah, there's in the in between spaces, there's the desert, which if you don't have the compass for some reason you can't see the scorpions. Um and basically they get revealed on the map as you equip it, and then you can kind of deal with them or avoid them or whatever. And then there's another section through a section of jungle where you have to equip, I think, a minesweeper,
Mm-hmm.
or you don't see the mines, and then they kind of just appear on the ground where they are. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
step on them.
And, oh, you know what really got me about this game was there's nothing that saves your radio frequencies. So
No,
I forgot what the radio frequency was. So I'm just like going through every channel. And of course, there's, hundreds of channels you can go through, and there's what, 5 or 6 people you can talk to.
right?
But
It's like I would find this in Metal Gear Solid. I would end up doing it on accident too, where you end up in the codec screen and then you accidentally like hit a down button or something and change it by like one
yeah,
or whatever, and then it doesn't work anymore. And it's like, why did you build a like full ass radio into this fucking game where like you can literally pick every single available frequency and only like three or four work?
yeah. Like, what's the point of that? And then halfway through the game, they all switch channels. And then there's
Yeah.
Diane, of course. You rescue Diane, you start calling her. It's like Diane's in the shower. It's like the fuck she is. I just rescued her.
Oh, that was the funniest thing. You rescue this one hostage, and then he tells you the frequency to talk to Diane, and she'll give you hints or whatever. I was like, fantastic. And then I pull up the codex and immediately call her, and then he's like, whoever answers says Diane's not here; she's out shopping. I was like, what
Yeah,
the fuck, Diane? You don't have anything better to do than uh, go shopping? You're supposed to be waiting for you got like a guy, you have got an operative inside behind enemy lines doing sensitive espionage work, and you went shopping.
yeah. All right, that's a great transition into the characters of the game because Diane's busy, so we can skip her.
Fucking
But
Diane.
yeah, so you got your characters. You're Solid Snake, and of course, you're answering to Big Boss, who you
Yep.
learn who it is in Metal Gear Solid 3.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah,
Jeez,
he's
that,
the
that's
commanding
a deep
officer
cut.
of Foxhound.
Or as the NES bad translation calls it, Foxhounder.
Yeah, Foxhounder.
The NES translation is dog shit, and it is hilarious.
Yeah, so commanding officer of Foxhounder, which I changed to Foxhound. Then
Yeah,
you have Gray Fox. He's a skilled operative and a former member of Foxhound, and I believe he's brought up in future games as well.
sounded familiar. Some of the
Yeah,
characters, yeah.
Dr. Petrovich, who you're actually looking for, he is the one who helps you sabotage Metal Gear by standing in a room and letting you do all the work.
Right.
We mentioned Diane, who's never around except for during boss fights. She tells you kind of how to beat them. Uh,
Yes, yeah.
Jennifer, who basically is just there. Schneider, who helps you infiltrate the outer heaven. Ellen, who is the daughter of Dr. Petrovich, who you have to rescue before Dr. Petrovich will help you. So that's kind of a bullshit thing.
Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of people that found Dr. Petrovich at some point and then had to go back for his daughter and then died in that, like side quest, basically going back and going to the old installation.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of, well, it's not dumb per se, but it's just why make them go back that far?
It pads out the game, but yeah, it's like, holy shit, that's really far back. And then, you know, that's like probably the first time you've ever gotten that far, and then you probably get lost on your way back, or
Yeah,
like,
because like I recognized the rooms I was going through and I knew how to backtrack, but after that point in the game, going outside the building into another one and then coming back, I would have no idea where I was.
yeah, it's really disorienting.
But yeah, you got
Yeah.
some locations as well. We got Outer Heaven, which is the entire stronghold itself, located in South Africa, and that's where the majority of the game takes place. By majority, I mean pretty much the whole thing.
Yeah.
Then you have buildings 1, 2, and 3, which are just different parts of Outer Heaven, so no explanation needed. You have the jungle, the bullshit jungle, which is kind of surrounding it. It's where you start halfway through the game, you're going to end up in the jungle again. You have the desert where the scorpions sting you, and you have the mountain pass.
I like that all these geographic uh, features are within. It's like Dragon Ball Z, right? Where it's like, where do you want to fight in this giant field? It's right over there. Like,
Yeah,
there's a desert, there's a mountain pass, and there's a jungle within like a 5 kilometer radius.
yeah, it's definitely a great tapestry of what the world looks like, all in South Africa.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's I have absolutely no problem with like the game itself, the buildings and everything. They look like buildings. They act like buildings. The graphics are dated, but they're good enough for the time. So
Oh yeah, for like a, I mean, talking about 1987, these are really good graphics. I mean, the character sprites all look kind of samey, but the buildings and um, the doors, even though they don't have fucking numbers on them,
yeah,
the items you can clearly see what they are when you pick them up. You know, like the gas mask looks like a little gas mask, and the um, you know, the silencer and the body armor and all the stuff that you find looks like what you're picking up. There's no question.
yeah, and it's that's kind of the nice part about it. The jungle looks kind of sloppy. It's just green equals tree, brown equals paths. Uh,
Hmm.
the inside of the buildings, the floor, like you said, look like the square blocks from Tetris.
Hmm.
So not really anything that pops out and makes you go, "Wow, I can't believe they fit all this into the game." Well, they obviously sacrifice some on the graphics. Characters look like people, but not very detailed people.
Right. It's like Snake looks the same as kind of the enemies do. He's just like
Yeah,
a slightly different color. It's like
yeah,
it's like when you had a bucket of army men as a kid, and there was like the green ones and like the tan ones.
yeah. They're just the same people, just different color palettes.
Right.
And
Um,
everybody took the radio guy who stood up. For some reason, the radio guy stands in your army men.
yeah. Everyone else is like in a action position, and then you
Yeah,
got the radio dude.
stand up and yell on the radio with no gun, right
Hey,
in the head.
someone's got to do the radio. Um, what did you think? Did you get to any of the boss battles?
I never made it to a boss battle myself, but watching the playthrough I watched, the guy literally just found the
Yeah.
spot the boss couldn't get to and just shot him.
Yes.
None of the
Yes. They
boss battles
were.
actually made me think that if you knew what you're doing, there's a challenge to it.
There were. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing, and I still found them pretty laughably easy. The one of the hardest ones is like the first one actually that you fight, which is a guy that's got like a shotgun. And then they have like the dumbest names. He's like, "I'm Shotgun Man," and you can't, like no one's ever escaped me or whatever. And then you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
go and walk and open the door that's like right next, like right at the bottom of the screen, and get your pack with all of your stuff. And then the most useful item basically was the grenade launcher for the bosses. At least for that first one, you could kind of put a target on the floor in front of you, and you basically just you could hide behind a crate and then step out and put the grenades, like fire two or three onto that target, and like the shotgun dude would just kind of like step out to shoot at you and get blown up by the grenades.
yeah.
Not too tough.
No,
The
there was
second
one,
one, yeah.
the flame guy I was
Yeah, the
watching,
flame guy
and
was ridiculous.
yeah, he's just spitting flames out there, and the guy who was doing the playthrough walks up and just puts himself in the corner behind the guy, and the flames don't
Yeah.
touch the guy, and he just shoots him. And it's like, wow, that was pretty sad, actually.
It was awesome. The walkthrough I watched, you just wait for him to stop shooting the flame, and then he just walked up behind the same way, but instead of shooting him, he just punched him.
Oh yeah, save the bullets. Except for my guy was using that trick where you go into the transponder and exit, and you just keep refilling your ammo.
Damn. What an exploit. But yeah, you could just
Mm,
walk up to him and punch him. And then there was like the machine gun guy that was like, I'm the best machine gunner. And then he basically telegraphs where he's gonna step. And all you have to do is step out there and fire a bunch of bullets and then step back. And when he steps out to take his shots, he gets just hit by all your bullets.
Yeah, there's those two guys. We're invincible, and then of course they're not invincible. You just hit them with the grenade launcher again.
Yeah. Yeah, those ninja looking guys. You basically there were two rows of crates, and there was one on the outside of each one, and you could kind of step out, and they would kind of pursue you. But if you stepped far, it seemed like if you stepped far enough away from them, then they went back to their original positions. So you just lure them out, hit them with grenades, and then step away, and then they go back to their position.
Yeah, yeah, that was it.
So
So
not the toughest or most elaborate boss battles, but that's not what made this game difficult.
no, what made this game difficult was sneaking around and then triggering an alarm and having a bunch of enemies come and just kill you.
And half the frustration was um not really knowing where to go next, and then trying to
Yeah,
like backtrack your way through, and then setting off an alarm and dying that way.
yeah, and it would be nice. Like, I know they can't really do this, but if you're in a building and you clear a room, if it stayed cleared, like you kill the
Yeah.
guys and they don't come back, so it gives you more time to explore. Keep
Yeah,
the
I wonder.
cameras and shit like that, so there's still danger, but at least you don't have to worry about exiting the screen and coming back and there being a guy staring at you.
Yeah, like in the exact same position. um yeah, that was, I wonder if it would have been more, I don't know how, like the video game development worked, especially at the time, but I would imagine there would have been a little bit more memory involved, or like they would have had to program that in to say, like the game processor has to like remember which enemies you killed or whatever.
Well, you got to remember, Legend of Zelda was able to do it by leaving one enemy on the screen
Right.
around the
Oh,
same
yeah.
time, right? So there's obviously a way. It's like changing a 1 to a 0 would probably be the solution to this. 1 equals enemies in room, 0 equals all enemies dead.
Interesting. Although,
Mm-hmm.
like,
I know.
Kojima's probably like, I don't give a shit. I'm smoking cigarettes.
Yeah. He's writing a speech for the 2024 Game Awards.
Is he
That's how
really?
long the speech is going to be. Well, you
Oh
remember the
God.
one last year, right? Like they had a 12-minute segment or something like that with Kojima there talking about his latest opus.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing a little bit about that.
I am melding video games with movies, creating the ultimate entertainment experience, and I'm just going to go on for so long that you're going to change the channel even though you're watching on YouTube.
I don't think I'm into that. I mean, that's what's kind of got me, not to get too off topic, but like I love Metal Gear Solid. It does have quite a few cinematic scenes, but I thought it kind of struck a nice balance. If I remember properly, it's been a while since I've played it, but
Well, the first
um,
one was great. The second one, and they pulled the old switcheroo on you have right at the beginning. I've never beaten the third one, but that's where they started to become overly story heavy.
yeah, where you're mixing, if it's a 20-hour game, it's like 60% of it is
Well,
cinematic scenes or what? Like that's
I
not a good ratio.
I played Metal Gear Solid 2 back when I was, young and able to play video games really effectively.
Hmm.
And I played it a second time, and knowing the story, I skipped all the cutscenes. I was able to beat Metal Gear Solid 2 in 2 hours and change
That's
with skipping all the
ridiculous.
cutscenes, and it was like a 16-hour game with cutscenes.
Which is nuts. That's like,
Yeah,
that's barely any game. That's all just a movie with a little bit of interactive action in between.
yeah,
I think,
exactly.
yeah, I don't enjoy my entertainment that way. When I'm in video game mode, or like sitting in front of my TV with my PlayStation controller, I'm not thinking like, um I want to watch a bunch of cutscenes. I want to play. That's what I'm there to, what I'm there to do. It's why I'm holding a controller in my hand.
Yeah,
Um,
and I don't mind the cutscene. Like the cutscene after a big boss battle or something like that's kind of the reward for beating it. A little bit more story there. It gives you about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes if it's been a stressful battle. But other than that, yeah, I'm with you. Like I'm playing the game. Let me play the goddamn game.
yeah, I don't play a lot of really modern AAA games, but like to bring up Horizon Zero Dawn, I do get a little uh, annoyed by the dialogue sometimes. And there's like a wheel with like 8 options on it, and you got to like sit and listen to them talk. Or I skip through. I just kind of like read the text and skip through. But still, it's like that's a lot of. I appreciate the level of detail that they put in, but sometimes it's like I just want to go run around and
Yeah,
you know
especially at the beginning of a game.
yeah, I want to get to know this and what I can do. and go take this, put this character through their paces a little bit.
Yeah, and that's kind of what one positive of this game was. It kind of drops you into the start of it, and
Yep.
you're off. You don't have a tutorial; you have a game manual. That's all you get to learn how to play the game.
Although I'm sure the game manual had I mean, I know the PlayStation 1 Metal Gear Solid had a ton of information in the manual, um, including all like the codec frequencies and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna look it up right now. What's in the manual? Web, big story, controls, weapon mode, equipment mode, all this stuff. Hey, pictures of all this crap you can get. Hey, cards 1 through 8. It's just one picture with the number 1 through 8.
Good Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they could do it in the manual.
It shows you how samey those damn things are.
Yeah, there is absolutely no transponder codes in this at all. So
Really? Oh my
yeah.
God.
So
That's
if you don't have a
ridiculous.
notebook, this is kind of like that the discussion we had about Fantasy Star. If you didn't have like a
Hmm.
graphing notebook there, so you could actually
Yeah.
draw the dungeons out, you're just kind of trial and error until you figured out where the door was.
Well, speaking of game manuals, you remember in the game manual, the last page or two, they would throw in like a notes page,
Yeah, this
or
has
just like
four
a
lines.
four lines, four codec, like transponder codes that you can remember. There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah, you're just kind of you're just screwed.
Yeah, it's if you don't remember what it was, you just gotta, I don't know. Oh, one positive thing I'd say too, although this game they've added, obviously if you emulate it, you can save state whenever you want. Um, but if you are playing it on the collection, there's a kind of, I would call it not save states, but there are places you can save and then it will start you at your most recent checkpoint, which to me is not really saving. But if you die, you just continue and it starts you at your latest checkpoint. I don't think there's any restriction on how many times you can die.
Oh, okay, that's actually nice because I didn't get far enough, so every time I died, I went back to the jungle again.
Yeah, it seemed like at least in the MSX version, it might be the same in the NES, but when you got to an elevator shaft is what they kind of considered a checkpoint. And they don't
Ah,
really tell you this, it just kind of happens. But I noticed as I got further into the game and actually accessed a couple of different elevators, or I had to return to the elevator shaft to go to a different floor. Um, when I would die, it would return me back to the elevator shaft every time. So that's kind of the checkpoint, more or
oh, there you
less.
go. It would give you the shaft. Hey,
It would give you the shaft for sure. But yeah, I do appreciate that there's not like, I mean, this game could do the thing where you die once and it's like, well, okay, you're fucked. You can start the
yeah,
whole game over again, even though you've been playing for the last couple hours and maybe your attention lapsed for like 2 seconds and you got caught,
yeah, and there is a code system in the game as well because I picked out a couple of cheat codes to kind of give me what is it 4-star status and then all the weapons and
Ooh.
items, which I thought would be from the beginning of the game, but it actually puts you at the point of the game where you've acquired them all.
Oh wow. So like kind of close to the end.
Yeah. So the 4-star status or the 4-star general, whatever you want to call it, was literally right at the end of the game. I went up an elevator and I saw the ending. So I was like, well, what the
Oh
fuck's the
wow.
point of that?
Well, that's cool. At least you saw the end. I mean, I did too. I just didn't participate in it. I
Yeah,
watched
I
it.
guess technically I did finish the game.
Um,
I'm counting it. It's going on the list.
technically, yeah. The list of games that I have finished
Yeah.
by Brian. Um, what did I mean, you said you mentioned cheat codes, and there were actual codes in some of these old games. Did the
Well,
Konami code do anything special?
um, I didn't try it. I wonder. I'm gonna look that up. Konami code
That'd be really
B.
funny if it just says like fuck you and then like starts the game from the beginning.
Yeah. Um.
Fuck you, this game is hard.
Oh man. Hey, every time I look at something, it's Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Rising.
Actually, now that I think about it though, now Metal Gear is a Konami property, but I don't know that it
No,
was a Konami property at the time.
I think Metal Gear was. Let me.
It had like a
I had
different
I had it written down, but Yeah, Konami developed it, but it was published, I think, by Ultra Games, which I
Ultra
believe,
Games, that was the one.
yeah,
Yep.
a lot of words. Yeah, this is just kind of a mess of information right now, but depending, oh, this is the Metal Gear franchise. That's why. No, it's Ultra Games because in the game manual
Yeah.
it actually said Ultra Games.
Yeah, so I don't know, this might predate Konami's like super involvement with being like the main
Well,
developer
everybody
of it.
starts somewhere, right?
Yeah, but oh, that's a bummer. No helpful Konami code to give you anything in this game.
Yeah, or maybe there is. I can't really find anything about it, and I'm not going to sit here and Google, while we're recording.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Oh my! Oh, somehow I ended up on Pornhub again.
Oh, there we go.
I typed in
And
K.
that's
How am
gonna
I
do
on
it. No.
Pornhub? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
Ew.
different Solid Snake. That's
Yeah.
not the right Solid Snake, buddy.
Yeah. But speaking of weird noises, anything notable about the sound of this game, the music? Because I have nothing to say about it. It was generic as fuck.
Yeah, the music was not very good. It was just kind of, I mean, the music has to set the tone in a game like this because it's either the sneaky music where it's like very very low key sounding, or it's the oh shit an enemy saw me in frantic music. So there's really only
Yeah.
two musics. But
Two
I
musics.
two different musics that you could listen to. Um, but the enemy seeing you with the exclamation mark and like that little chime that it makes, or I don't know what you would call that pinging noise that when they
A
um,
ping or a chime is
even
probably good enough.
yeah, but it's there. It sounds very 8-bitty, but it's good. It really I didn't play this game as a kid, obviously, but I do have nostalgia for Metal Gear Solid. So hearing that sound, even though it usually meant "oh shit," was still kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm definitely not playing the soundtrack on repeat at the gym. So, and
No, it
because of
doesn't.
this game, I'm not going to the gym.
Unless you want to just play the song on loop when the enemies see you on the treadmill. It's like
And yeah, exactly.
and just that on loop. It's probably only
Just
15
have that.
seconds worth of
Yeah.
sound. Yeah.
Just have that one like super muscly dude who's always at the gym whenever you are, no matter what time of the day it is, just chase you while you're on the treadmill,
Yeah.
yell at you.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
gonna
have them
kill
behind
you.
you. Yeah.
All right, so
Bring.
I don't really have a lot to finish this off, and I think we can kind of summarize the last few points and then give it our scores. There, are you down with that?
Yeah, I don't really have much else to say. It's we can transition right into final thoughts as far as I'm concerned. We really think we covered as much ground as we're able to on this one. It's a tough game, but it's fun. Um
That's the
I had
thing.
fun with it even though it was very difficult.
Yeah, and I did find it entertaining. Like I wanted to like this game, but it was such a difficult game to do anything, and it takes the littlest fuck up to ruin your day.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Um,
really is very much a tightrope walk.
and as much as I want to play this game again, I don't think I ever will. I might play. Well, I probably will play Metal Gear 2, but I'll never go back to Metal Gear.
Yeah. I'm conflicted a little bit. I'm on the fence because I did not I did dabble in both. I played mostly the kind of like remade version, which doesn't fix everything. Unfortunately, it doesn't fix the key card bullshit, but um having that kind of spruced up version on the Metal Gear collection is pretty awesome because it put the weapons menu and the items menu on the trigger buttons. So there was kind of a quicker access to it instead of like probably what was pressing start and select in the
Yeah,
original. And then, I mean, I think that helped out a lot. Um,
probably not.
well, I mean, it at least it felt like access to the menu was a little bit quicker. Um, and then select activated the codec or like the radio. I think definitely that's the definitive way to play it. Don't bother trying to be a purist and be like, I'm going to play it on the NES because that's the way that God intended. Well, um,
Yeah,
that
listener.
that version is extremely limited and not as fun to play.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And as much as I really want, like I said, I wanted to really enjoy this game, and I did for the most part once I started making progress. But it
Hmm.
always was the same thing. You go into back of a truck, and then you come out, and then the guy shoots you, and you die, and then you have to go back to the beginning of the jungle, and then this time he's there, so you come out and you try to attack him, but somehow he still kills you, and then on attempt number like 7, you finally get by him, only to get killed on the next screen
Yeah, that was
by
the
a
thing
dog.
where it is such a grind that you finally make it where it's like, yes, I finally got past that part, and then you
Yeah,
go to the next screen, and then you get just completely annihilated.
and when I first started it, couldn't get past I couldn't get out of the jungle into building 1. So I went and watched a playthrough. I'm like, oh, there's got to be a way to do this. And the guy was doing the exact same thing I was. He was just getting lucky.
Yeah, I
So
think
it
some
was
of it.
like, yeah, it's definitely a game that is very luck heavy.
I can imagine that some of those playthroughs that you find on YouTube are cut together to eliminate some of the bullshit or
Oh
like
yeah,
some of the mess ups and that kind of stuff. But
probably
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, even I still props to those people that can finish the game because even to get to the point where you can splice together enough clips to actually show you finishing the game is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's just them splicing together each other's clips.
Just yeah, one. It's not even one person. There's a collective. It's like a
Yeah,
conspiracy. There's a Metal Gear collective that
exactly. Just like
everyone
in the
plays a
game,
little bit.
the
Yeah.
government's getting involved.
Hmm.
All right, so what are you going to rate this
Exactly.
game out of 10?
Well, first of all, I would play it. I think I would play it again. I think if
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
next time that that Metal Gear cartridge finds its way to my Switch to play one of the other games on the collection, I'll fuck with this game. It's a fun little thing to pick up and play for a bit. And you can save and kind of keep your progress going. But anyways, yeah. I would say rating it out of 10. Ooh, I'm gonna give it like a 5.
yeah. I was going to do 5 as well. It's not a great game, but it's not a terrible game. Like you said, you can play it again.
You
It's
can.
something you can pick up. You can run through until you get frustrated in 5 minutes and throw the cartridge out the window.
I
But
can see the brilliance of it, but I think some of the ideas that Kojima had in 1987 were ahead of what the capabilities of the NES were, which is why I think maybe the technology had caught up. And by the time we're talking about Metal Gear Solid, it's a much better game, and it kind of fits like stealth and kind of like the deciding who you wanted to shoot and sneaking around in cardboard boxes is something that works better in a third person game.
yeah. Uh, all right, so both gave it a 5, which pretty much sets its place on our tier list. What are you going to say for the tier?
um
Remembering again, 3 games have now made our S tier, which is The Stick of Truth, Super Mario RPG, and recently Portal.
oh
No
yeah.
games have made the F tier yet, but what would you feel this game is?
What did we put Desert Strike in the D tier?
Yes,
Okay, if Desert Strike is a D tier game, I would put this as like a C tier game.
and I am not going to disagree, and I've already actually put it in the C tier.
Nice.
It's just in preparation for your comment. So yeah,
Al-
I'm definitely going to go with a C tier as well.
Although this game did kind of, as I was playing it, remind me um of Jungle Strike in kind of a way where it was like there's a definite um pretty unforgiving and specific pattern to how you need to move through these levels, and it's only after repetition that you kind of get the feel of what you need to do first and where you need to go next and that sort of thing. I think the
Yeah,
games are similar in that respect.
yeah, you're absolutely right, and I'm not going to equate it to Desert Strike because this is definitely better than Desert Strike.
Oh,
But
for sure. Yeah, I'm not saying it's as good. I think it's way better.
oh yeah, but yeah, the repetition is kind of a Nintendo thing, so I'm not going to blame them for that. But yeah, I have really nothing left to say about this game. So are you ready to sound off? Have you got your catchphrase for episode 25 ready?
Oh yeah, I'll save it for when it's time.
Oh yeah, there you go. All
I
right,
don't
so
want to
that
say
is,
it and then have to say it again.
of course, oh, like last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so that's it. Let's call it here, and that is episode 25 of Retrotopia. Meaning, next episode is going to be our 26th episode or our half year milestone. And
Woo.
Sam, what are we going to talk about?
Next week is going to be a 5x5, and I believe we are talking about.
Our top PlayStation Plus premium games that we
Oh,
want
that's
to
right.
play.
I lost my. I've been like, I've been working on a few of these different ones, so I couldn't remember if it was one of the upcoming ones or one we had recorded already. I'm getting lost here.
Yeah,
So yeah, it is the top PS Plus retro games, which should be a fun time, and it was a fun time. So
it
tune
was
in next
definitely.
week. And until next time, go smoke an entire pack of cigarettes.